Yo, 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 what's good? Good morning, family. It's your man, AC Star. I want to welcome you to the AC Star Morning Show right here on AC Star Talk Radio on YouTube.com. What's good, people? Good morning to you on this this March 2nd. Time is flying by, man. I can remember, it was like, whoo. It's crazy, man, how time is flying, man. Time is flying. Time is flying by, man. Like, I can't believe it. We already in March, folks. Hey, yo, so what's good with y'all, man? Yo, today is called Talk to Me Tuesday, y'all. Talk to Me Tuesday. This is where y'all kick it with your boy AC. I got a few topics I want to get into today. If you read the thumbnail, you will see I got Lebron James versus ZLATAN Ibrahimovic, which is a soccer player for AC Milan. And then I got Ice Cube versus Warner Brothers. And then I got down in Oklahoma, we got another teacher, another white person, just telling another black person that because of something they had on, they're racist. So, yo, we're going to jump right into it, man. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for showing up. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day today on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Yo, listen. It's cold as hell outside. I don't even know what happened. Yesterday it was warm. Then I go outside this morning. It's freezing outside. I couldn't believe that shit. That shit was crazy. But, yo, peace to everybody. Peace to Antaya. What's going on, Antaya? I got to do something right quick. I got to mod you up real quick, Antaya. I gotta give you a wrench, but I can't do it on here. I gotta mod you up. What's up? Ted, hit it again on the chat, cause I don't got you. Oh, my man, Joe Dub. Definitely gotta make Joe Dub a moderator. So, yo, what's good, y'all? Listen, man, first thing I want to talk about is Ice Cube, man. Like, Ice Cube just put out a tweet yesterday, and he was pretty much saying, telling, what's the name? Yo, man, give us the culture back, man. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, give us the culture back, man. Like you can't have the culture. He was telling Warner Brothers, release us, man. Like, release Friday from the jaws of Warner Brothers, right? Another situation where the culture has been hijacked, because we all know that Friday was for the culture, right? Friday was for the culture. You know what I'm saying? We all know that movie was for the culture. We know it. And for Warner Brothers to hold that movie and not want to release it or give it to Ice Cube so that he can continue to make the franchise pop and introduce it to new people that really may not be familiar with it, that's just further examples of them taking the culture from us and doing what they want to do with it. I mean, it's weird sometimes, because when these guys get into these contracts like that, it always feels like you guys didn't see that you wouldn't have control over this entity, and that one day you may want to use it, and then you got to go through these tactics where it's like you got to shame them into releasing it. I think a lot of times that's like a waste of time. Yo, Rilo, peace, bro. I think that's like a waste of time. I think it's like, what do you, what do you get from that? Like, what are you getting from that? Because in essence, you're basically like, you're not setting yourself up to have your intellectual property in your hand. You're giving somebody else control over it. So when it comes to something like that, so like now you're like, wow, it's like, wow, like, what do I do? What do I do to get control back? So we got to go into these shaming tactics, and he got to go on Twitter and social media and kind of get the world behind him. But I think that that's a travesty, man, to like where these guys got to beg for something as dope as Friday. Let me see what it says. In a post on his Instagram, Ice Cube wrote #Free Friday from the jaws of Warner Brothers, who refuse to make more sequels. They hijack happiness of the culture, which is a direct jab at the studio for continuing to hold up the process of bringing more films to the audience. Apparently, Ice Cube is furious with Warner Brothers because although they own the rights to the Friday films and have decided not to make anymore, they are refusing to release the rights to him so that he can make the sequels at another studio. Ice Cube has spoken out multiple times about feeling that the potential Friday sequels are being held hostage since he can't take them anywhere else to be made. Sadly, as we previously reported, two of the film's biggest legends has passed away, and they were talking about John Witherspoon and Tiny Lister, also known as Debo. And see, just from Debo, right, and how the idea of Debo is just a cultural phenomenon. I mean, it's a Debo, you get Debo, right? Like, that tells you how profound the movie was, where you get a word, you get Debo, right? Like, if somebody bully you and somebody come through, you get Debo, right? So, like, when they sign those contracts, do they really think about what the future holds, or, you know, what they want to do with those projects in the future? Like, because it's just weird that they sign into these things and then they get locked in, right? And then when they want to reintroduce it to the culture, it's like they can't do it, right? And this goes along. See, and I want my channel, y'all, and I figured out, because, you know, you got to figure out what your niche is, right? You got to figure out what you want to do, what your message is, who you want to be when you start a media platform, because this is a media platform. It may not be as big as some of the others, but if I work hard, excuse me, damn, man, I got this phlegm, man, Jesus Christ. I got my mini Reg the Bad Guy mug. Mine got lemonade in it though, Reg. I don't got no, it's too early in the morning to be drinking, and I don't really drink like that. But it's kind of, it sparked me. Well, two things sparked me. Last night, I was on Psychopathia channel, and he had an amazing interview with General Steele from Smith & Wesson, the legendary boot camp clique affiliated, hardcore, tech and steel Smith & Wesson. And listening to that interview last night, it just really showed me the importance of the culture. And no matter how old I get, how the people that I listen to, right, in the 80s and the 90s, like how they're peace be all. How you doing, big sis? How they're, you know, expressing themselves now, and when you hear the stories about their rise to fame and all the hard work they put in and what they believe in the culture and how the culture is so important to them, it just reinforced the idea to me that I should definitely make my channel for the culture, about the culture, to the culture. And talking about this Ice Cube thing, it just really invigorates me to understand that we have to be responsible for the culture. And now that we know what will happen if we let others take responsibility, or we have to sign into contracts and give our precious intellectual properties from the culture to others, then they hold the culture and they hijack the culture, right? And then they hold our cultural icons hostage. Like, Friday is an icon. Friday is probably the first black movie that you would put as a cult classic, right? Like, Friday was that first black cult classic where it was in the hood, the storyline was dope. I mean, you got so many things out of, you got Miss Parker, you got My Neck, My Back, you know what I mean? You got Ezel, Debo, you know what I mean? Yeah, Craig, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was just so many cultural narratives in that movie that we all affiliated with. Salute Triple OG. Good morning to you, bro. Don't forget my fruit cup, big bro. Good morning to you. Yo, please hit the like and share. Let everybody know that I'm on right now, that we rocking right now, and we having a deep conversation about the culture, because this channel is to the culture, for the culture, by the culture. So as I was saying, and when you have so many cultural narratives and so many things that the general cultural took from it, like Felicia, right? Like, bye Felicia. They saying that to this day. Bye Felicia, right? All the cultural narratives that came out of that first Friday movie. And to have, you know, to have a movie studio, a white-owned movie studio, you know what I'm saying? Stanley Punk ass nigga. That's right, Eddie Black. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so many things out of Bernie Mac, you know what I mean? The Rev, you know what I mean? It was just so many cultural narratives that we could relate to, right? The whole story about what's the name's money and hustling and trying to flip and getting fired, and, you know, they saying you stole something and you didn't. So that movie really related to the culture. And I don't And what Warner Brothers is doing is they're telling Ice Cube that you won't be more profound than the movie already is, and if so, we want in, right? They're Frank Whiting them. They're saying if a nickel bag is sold in the park, we want in. And what Ice Cube is saying, that's my bag. Me and my team, we created that movie, right? And I know RBR, the infamous RBR, I know he probably like, I told you fools. If the narrative that he puts out there has any volition to it or any truth to it, I know he's sitting back like, wow, right? Like, and this is just one of those tales of when you create something and you create it for the culture, make sure that you control its future. You control its present, its past, and its future, right? Because that's what Warner Brothers is doing right now. They're controlling Friday's past, present, and future. They're saying the past established us as a movie house is greatness. They're saying the present time, we're just going to keep it status quo, and we don't care about what it can do in the future. Now, Ice Cube can't make a spin-off or do something different, like to take it to another movie house, because he know he will be tied up in all kind of litigation. But this is a cautious tale to new thinking people, to new creatives that may be listening to me, or new creatives that's not even born yet, that we have to tell young African-American men and women, or anybody that's for the culture, that if you make something and it's representative of the culture, that you got to make sure that you got a lot of responsibility and a lot of control over that, right? Like, you're not signing your soul over to your soul, selling your soul to the devil, per se. Because that was the narrative I heard a lot on Psycho's channel when he was talking to General Steele. It was just a lot of, I signed a lot of contracts and I got into a lot of deals that I really wasn't aware of, but I just was trying to get out of my present situation. So I bought into some things that didn't benefit me in the end. So I had to, finagle and go around. But it was just people that wasn't, that was making money off the culture that was trying to tell him, like, we're going to control the culture. I mean, that's ain't no one at Warner Brothers is saying to themselves in this climate right now, like, how can we take a black franchise like Friday and then hold it hostage? It's that parasitical relationship that I always talk about that African Americans have in the United States of America. It's like they suck the blood off of us, and then when we say we don't want no more, it's like, well, I control this relationship. I'll tell you when enough is enough. I mean, every story that I'm doing today is pretty much the outer group telling us what we need to do, when we need to do it, and why we need to do it. And our representation of ourselves, our culture, our life has to be approved by them, or it's intimidating to them. So when we're speaking about things, or when we're making movies that talk about the triumph and the victories and the sadness and the ups and downs, they think they can hold on to that. They think they can hold on to that culture and that narrative and say, we'll put it out when we're ready to. We'll make the money off of it as we see fit. Now, as a business entity, I can understand that logic. I can truly understand that logic. But as being respectful men and understanding culture and understanding how important iconic things are to the culture, right? Why would you hold on to something that means so much to a group of people? That's representative of a group of people that you don't belong to. Why would you feel so enamored to hold on to that and not allow that group of people to use it to continue to bring joy and happiness to our community? It's like they go out of their way to steal our joy and then act like it's business. It's like they don't want us to be happy. It's like our joy and our happiness is intimidating to them. Our success is intimidating to them. So when they see a man like Ice Cube take that Friday franchise and then make Cube Vision, or just make other movies, or diversify his portfolio and then make his own movie house, they don't want him to compete. They don't want Ice Cube to one day be Warner Brothers. See, they want to limit our success and then tell us that, oh, it's open for everybody, until we see that it's really not open for everybody. Now, I hope one day Ice Cube can work this out and they can figure this out and get it going and try to, get some things where, they can get some voices in the room that could be like, listen, man, we understand what y'all saying from a business standpoint, but this culturally belongs to these people. See, the one thing that I want to emphasize on my channel from here on now is how important it is. What's going on, Sweet Pea? Good morning to you, my love. Good morning to you, baby. The one thing that I want to highlight on my channel is the things that belong to our culture, that makes our culture so resilient, so reticent, and so vibrant, right? And so resilient. Like, I want to emphasize those things and how important it is that we hold on to the cultural narrative, and we not only speak to it oratorily, that we write about it and we visualize it. Because it's important. And when we hold on and I readily identify what our culture is, then nobody can take that away from us. Because a lot of our culture has been taken away from us from culture vultures and from people who just want to stop that. Who want to stop us from really, being successful and having the economic power to change lives. Because see that if Ice Cube was to get that franchise back and put new movies out, he would introduce new black stars to the culture. Music wise, production wise, artist wise. Peace of Black Power, Psycho. Everybody, I want everybody to give a salute to Psycho yesterday. Let me stop my bill for a minute. Yesterday he did a wonderful interview on his channel with the great General Steele, again, of Smith & Wesson. It was a marvelous, in-depth interview. It was great. I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? They took me back culturally, talked about a lot of things. It was so dope. Yo, Psycho, man, that was a wonderful interview, man. And that's what be pissing me off, because we got these other channels in this sector, man, and they can be talking about craziness and black woman this and black, and they get 1,000 people in the chat. We have one of the pioneers of hip-hop, one of the pioneers of the boot camp clique in the building, right? And we couldn't even get that same crowd. But those who was there, they represented. It was a good time. And yo, Psycho, man, I appreciated that, man. That made my evening yesterday, man. That was real dope. That was real dope. And that's my thing. Like, Psycho emphasized the culture, right? Like, Psycho brought somebody from the culture to the space. You know what I mean? Somebody that's been in the culture, that got history in the culture, that's related and affiliated with some of the greats of the culture. And they talked about the ownership of and how he transitioned from being a signed artist to an independent artist, and just being an independent artist, and how all the things that got in the way, but he still overcame all those obstacles. He didn't let those obstacles stop him. Taya, I don't know, Taya, why you not popping up. You're not popping up in the... Oh, there you go. All right. I don't know what's up, Taya. You're not popping up in the thing. But back to the bill. So, with this thing, hopefully they can get it flushed out, and Ice Cube can get it back. But right now, he just on a shaming campaign. So I guess, Ice Cube kind of feeling himself right now. He making the rounds, right? Like, that whole thing with the political thing, that kind of put some hair on his chest. So now he out there, he calling out big dogs, like he trying to really, assemble the culture and really be a representative of the culture. Because that was something else that, that Still talked about last night, how like Ice Cube and his transition from being a West Coast Don and hanging out on the East Coast and messing with Chuck D and, America's Most Wanted album being produced by Hank Shockley and all them. That's straight New York, right? But that was because, that beef with East Coast, West Coast, it really wasn't what people thought. It wasn't that significant, because I love King T. I love, what's his name? Dale the Homo Sapien, all NWA, Ren, when DOC came, oh my God, the Diggy D, when he came on the scene, we was like, oh my God, who is this dude, right? Like, the DOC was just, he took NWA to another level. Whether any of them in the crew want to admit it or not, like MC Ren, DOC, and Cube held NWA down. Now, Eazy-E had the We Want Easy, so that was like for me, that was my introduction to the West Coast. We Want Easy on Video Music Box, Ralph McDaniel. That was my introduction to the NWA brand with We Want Easy. It used to come on every Thursday and Friday. Well, it came on every day, but We Want Easy video came. You guaranteed to see it every Thursday and Friday, because on Thursday they showed the new videos, and then on Friday they just show all the fire. So when you got home at 3:30, from 3:30 to 4:30, sometimes 5 o'clock, Ralph McDaniels gave you what you needed. You know what I mean? He gave you what you needed. So I hope that they can figure this out and we can get that. Because you know what, though? I'm going to be honest. I didn't like Friday Part 2. I didn't like the second one. Friday After Next, I didn't like that one. That was when they was trying to add other cultures and other ethnicities. Dead that. Because when they went back to 3, they had Trenton Zone some more in it. Cat Williams took it to a next level. They created a new Debo with what's his name? We see what he is now, what he turned out to be. But it was funny, you know what I'm saying? It was dope. So hopefully Cleve can get that back. Yo, the second thing I want to talk about, I don't know if y'all familiar with what happened. LeBron James recently was challenged by this soccer player. Now, this soccer player used to play, his name is ZLATAN Ibrahimovic. He plays for AC Milan, but he used to play for the LA Galaxy, which is the MLS franchise for LA. So I guess when he played for them, he kind of got familiar with LeBron James. But he had made a statement recently about LeBron James and said, "Good morning, Miss Carolyn, how you doing?" He made a statement about LeBron James saying that LeBron James should stick to sports, right? There was another white person. Now, the crazy part about this guy is not even from America. Like, he's a foreigner. He's a European guy. I think he's from Switzerland or somewhere, right? I'm not familiar where he's from, right? And his whole take was, well, a guy as great as LeBron, he should just focus on sports, right? He should focus on the sport that he plays, and just become great, right? And for me, when I hear individuals say things like this, just shut up and dribble or just don't focus on, it's because they don't want us to speak up about us. They don't want us to be proud of who we are. That's why I always tell people, like, when you hear people say I'm not pro-black or they talk about the pro-blacks, those are people who've been shamed into not liking being black. When you hear people say, oh, I'm not pro-black, or use this narrative, oh, the pro-blacks, right? That bothers me to hear black people say the pro-blacks. Like, well, what are you? Like, what? Wait a minute, you put your blackness down? And a lot of times, comments like this gentleman made about stick to sports and don't worry about race and don't and what he was basically saying about stay out of politics, he couldn't even understand the context of who LeBron James is and what he's doing. So that shows you exactly what that is, right? That's just him feeling comfortable as a white man to say or think he can say what he want to say to black athletes because society at large and globally made him feel comfortable with that. Like, they feel comfortable by telling us that race don't matter and, it ain't about color and it's, they go with the old Martin Luther King shit. It's the character. Well, all y'all characters is fucked up. How about that? So for me, it's your race and your character. So both all y'all characters is fucked up. If you're going to tell me that being proud of who I am or I need to put my blackness down so you can neutralize my powers, I'm good off that. Because that's all it is. They tell you to step away from that because they see that you're making headway. Like, see, their whole thing is to stop us from making headway. When you get a foreign soccer player that doesn't even play basketball, right? He's a caricature in soccer, right? Like he's supposed to be this guy who, says everything, says what he wants, he's brash and bold and all this crazy shit, right? But he crashed from it. He drove all the way from soccer and crashed all the way into fucking basketball. Now, he's no longer in LA. He played for LA a few years ago. He's now in AC Milan, which is Italy, right? But he felt comfortable interjecting himself in American social politics, right? Because that's what it is. What he doesn't understand is LeBron James is not in politics per se. LeBron James is in the business of black empowerment. To empower people to make better informed choices. To empower people to not be held back by the system. His initiative to get people registered to vote. His initiative to pay the fines for people in Florida that was just given the right to vote based on legislation. He's actively participating in the civil education and the civic education of people who didn't understand the process. Something that is dear to my heart, the political process, the civic process. And he doesn't use it to promote a particular politician, he uses it to promote the idea that our voices count too. So now we have this Italian soccer player who had a little brief cup of coffee in LA, and now he feels comfortable. He's not even an American citizen, and he feels comfortable telling an African American, one of the premier athletes in the world, if not the premier athlete in the world, he feels that emboldened that he can look up to LeBron and say, you need to stay out of politics. Like, that's how emboldened they are, where he doesn't even have the self-awareness to say, I'm not even on this man's level. I will never accomplish the things he's accomplished in life, whether in sports, whether in personal life, whether in giving back to the community. I'll never be what LeBron James is. Even if I died and came back LeBron James, I'll still never be as good as him. But it's that saying, like, they don't care how big we are. They feel like they're better than us no matter what level they're on. Because he's not like a superstar soccer player. He's like a defender. He may get a goal here and there, but he's just like a brute. Like, he's a brute. And he showed that he was a brute with his articulation of this position, and he just didn't have the wherewithal to understand what he was saying. Some of the people in his own sphere called him an idiot, a knucklehead, based off his comments, ignorant, because they knew what he was saying was ignorant. And these weren't just white counterparts; these were black counterparts. Peace, Miss FedEx. Good morning to you, my love. So yeah, folks, this is Talk to Me Tuesday. I'm going to drop the link in a little bit. We're going to chop it up about some of these topics. But yeah, for me, it was just amazing that man felt so comfortable to just be like, yo, stick to sports. And LeBron let him know, like, listen, man, don't come at me, man, because I'm not for that. I'm not built for that. I do this. Like, I do this. My record speaks for itself. Like, you're the same guy complaining about racism in Switzerland because you got a Jewish last name. So now you're going to tell me, when you spoke up and complained and said that it wasn't fair, you didn't think you was getting the right treatment, and you didn't feel like your stardom was on the right path when you was in a particular country, but now you're going to tell LeBron James that the country he live in, the country he's born in, that he shouldn't speak up about the injustices and the shit that him and his people say. That he should shut up. Here it is, you have an AC Milan soccer player of European descent and Jewish descent going all the way over into America to tell an African American supreme primal athlete, optimal athlete, yo, shut the fuck up and dribble. Like, that's where we're at. Like, we make no progress. We make no progress because when we finally get the domestic people right and get them on to where they halfway decent and halfway understand it, then we have the foreigners who just crash into and add they 2 cents. Have no dog in the fight. Not from here, can't vote here, nothing. Just felt as a white person that it gave him the power to speak out against LeBron James. That's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with people who seek to mind their business and allow us to use whatever platforms we do to echo the sentiments of the people behind us. Because that's what LeBron James does. Like, for me, I don't get the critics of LeBron James, either in his sport or in his life. I don't get them. I mean, he's lived up to the expectations on the athletic level and surpassed them, blew them out the water. What he's doing in his own community, where he's literally educating his people and giving them jobs, right? So he's taking care of things that people worry about at night, worry about their kids getting a quality education, worrying about whether or not to put food on their table. So when the kids are matriculated into his school and their parents may have some financial problems or may have some employment issues, he helps them find employment. Who can go against that? This is a basketball player who's created an incubator system in his community to where people can go and get better and get whole. Not just the children, but their parents as well. And then has it set up to where if you graduate from the school, you have an automatic education to University of Akron or the college of your choice. See, that's for the culture. That's for the culture in totality. The movies that I just talked about, a movie that he produced, right? We just talked about the Judas and the Black Messiah. That's a LeBron James produced film. executive produced by his movie brand. So he went from a Cleveland high school basketball phenomenon to now owning a movie brand. See how he diversified his portfolio, and he did it for what? The culture. He had his barbershop show on HBO where he allowed people from the culture to speak about their interactions in and outside of the culture. See, the culture is very important. So when people tell you there is no black culture, yes, it is. LeBron James is black culture. Psychopathia is black culture. Miss FedEx is black culture. Antea Williams is black culture. Joe Dub is black culture. Denini is black culture. Black culture is people who do things to influence and enhance the culture. Denini was selling shirts that had this beautiful sister on it. That's black culture. She was emphasizing black culture. It's very important that we keep the cultural narrative and we keep it in a box, and even if we barter it and we do things with it and we trade it, we make sure that we hold on to the responsibility of it, to the essence of it. To me, she's black culture, D. To me. And I say that as a parent of 2 Jamaican children, she's black culture to me. Nah, they not black culture. Nah, I don't know what Logic is. I don't even know who he is, but they not black culture. But on a serious note, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm not talking about biracial kids or anything like that. I'm talking about people who have a influence, who have a desire to profess their love for the culture, and their whole way of life is for the culture. I don't know if those 2 young men are for the culture. I don't know anything about it, actually. Aries, what's good, bro? Good morning to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to drop the link in a minute, bro, so you can come on up and chop it up with me. I mean, because this is the thing, right? I don't necessarily get into that idea of the race. Like, I can identify who's for the culture. Like, a Sean King ain't for the culture, right? Like, he's not for the culture. I will never say he's for the culture. But I'm talking about people who actually have put work in, put blood, sweat, and tears in the culture, and you can see their work. Right? And for me, I just feel like somebody gotta step, like we gotta just keep pushing these voices back. Those people tell us to shut up and dribble, all this and that. We gotta push them back, because if you pay attention to their narrative, when they feel oppressed, when they feel like they've been done wrong, they speak very loudly. Like Lord Ingram told LeBron to shut up and dribble, right? Because he wasn't supposed to speak. See, they don't want our athletes and people of that ilk to be our speakers. And then you even hear black people saying that, well, celebrities shouldn't speak for us. Well, where's the common man that stand up and speak for us? Now, not to say that there isn't, and I want to highlight those, but we don't get to see those. So when the athletes and the entertainers speak up and they articulate and their message resonate, how can we be mad at them? See, we're not mad. Nobody goes back in time and get mad at Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, Hank Aaron, all those black athletes that spoke up in the 60s. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Nobody. 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 And the thing is, once we get to a point where when they say that shit, it don't even register, that's when we know our culture truly matters. Because our culture truly matters. If you look at television ads now, most of the television ad now has some black music in it, whether it's rap, whether it's R&B, whether it's gospel, whether it's soul, whether it's jazz. If most television commercials now have some layer of the culture in it, whether it's dance, look at they brought the Whoop There It Is boys all the way back from the dead, right? These got gray beards, everything, right? They in there catching the running man, right? That's the culture. Now, what's the chances that the the marketing company or the advertising company that put that commercial together, what's the chances that somebody there was truly for the culture, or they just knew the importance of the culture and how to create that narrative and market this whatever product to the culture? Because our culture matters, folks. It matters. Peace, D. Hit me up later, man. Email me or something, man. We're going to chop it up this week, man. Friday or something. Come through. On Friday, we're going to do it for the culture. So if you ain't in class, man, come holler at your boy, man. Don't study too long. Don't be challenging the teacher, man, because I know, D, you be in class challenging the teacher like, it said this. And the teacher probably like, oh, my God, damn. I can see you now, bro. I know you be giving the teachers hell. But yo, y'all, please hit the like and share, man. Please hit the like and share. Hey, Danini, good morning to you, my love, the beautiful Danini. What's good with you, Danini? I see you be making your rounds. I like Danini, y'all. A lot of people got beef with her, but I like her, man. To me, she's a grown-ass woman, and I like grown-ass women, right? Because when you're trying to be a grown-ass man, you want to be around grown-ass people, and like people like her are like grown-ass women, right? Don't have no problem with being, nice and whatever, and we'll show you the other side. And I just like shit like that. But yo, this third story I want to get to me, this is kind of disappointing story that I'm just tired of hearing. I'm tired of reading. I'm tired of dealing with. Like, it's just enough is enough. But it happens again. And this is the story out of Oklahoma, where in Edmond, Oklahoma, if I ain't from Oklahoma, but if anybody know about Oklahoma, you know what it is. It's cold as hell up here right now, Aries. I don't even know how that happened. It was so nice. Listen, y'all, the snow has melted. It rained. Like, you don't really see no snow. And then last night, I don't know what the hell happened. I woke up this morning walking my people to the car. It was cold as hell. So I got on a sweater today. I can't even wear no t-shirt today. I got to throw on the polo thick mop neck joint. Now I got to go outside with the mop neck polo on. I hate big clothes. I'm a big guy. So I like to move around. Like, can't be all tight and stuff. You know what I mean? I got to mix it up. You know what I mean? You got to be agile, ready. You know what I mean? So I don't like to be all bundled up. I'm too big for that shit. I don't even like to wear coats in the wintertime. All right, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I'm going to definitely do that, bro. Appreciate you, my G. Appreciate you on the love, man. So, y'all. In Edmond, Oklahoma, of course, we had a white Karen, a teacher. She decided that this young man who wore this shirt that said, King on it, right? It was a t-shirt. I'm trying to share it, man, but when you do StreamYards on Firefox, I don't think Firefox likes StreamYards or StreamYards don't like Firefox. I don't know. But Firefox don't allow you to do certain things on StreamYard. So if you're trying to share a screen from something else, it just messes it all up. So I'm going to learn, though. We're going to get better. But so the young kid, he had on the shirt, right? Let's read the story. I'm going to go from the beginning. A 13-year-old Edmond student says he was confused and embarrassed when his middle school teacher told him his t-shirt with Black King emblazoned on it was racist in the middle of a class. The student and his mother sat down for this interview. I am proud of my blackness. That's right, little man. That's right. Tell them people straight up. I am proud of my blackness. She will never take that away from me, Latrell said. Tab said he was beyond excited to wear his new birthday present to school on Tuesday, a t-shirt proclaiming Black King with an outline of Africa. I am a king because I think I'm a king and I live like a king. That is so dope, Tab said. And this is a little 13-year-old boy who got more sense than half the goddamn adults we see in his YouTube pages who be like, oh, kings, and, just try to be derogatory towards their own black people. Like, oh, you a king and all that shit, right? Now here you have a 13-year-old 7th grader who has enough wherewithal and enough self-belief and been raised by a beautiful black single mother who taught him that he is a king. I am a king because I think I am a king, he said, right? Think about that. The words out of the mouths of babes. Now we got a bunch of old heads who be on here talking about they Native Americans, but they not black. Living in the south side of Chicago or living outside of Milwaukee, but they native, but they ain't black. Until you say something about black people, then they get all crazy. But then when, you supposedly pro-black, Oh, you a pro-black. I ain't pro-black. I'm native. My grandma told me we had native in our family. Grandma lied, nigga. Latrell said during a class at Heartland Middle School, his teacher abruptly changed the subject from the periodic table to asking what his shirt said. She said if the shirt she had on said white queen, it would have been racist, Tab said. Then after that, she said we need White History Month. I said black people don't have enough recognition and we barely learn about black people in February at my school. The trail teacher said to the majority of the class, and they all agreed with her that the shirt was racist. I was embarrassed, Taft said. He does have peers who look at him, but very few decided to take his side. Very few. So here you have a 13-year-old boy in the class with a bunch of little racist white kids who don't understand why a young black man will wear a shirt that says I am king on it. Right? Think about that. Where he was wrong for being proud of who he is. Like we can't reach to the future. We can't go to the past. We can't be in the present. Anywhere you turn around, us being authentically black is a problem with white people. And then you have people in this space who bring white people to black spaces and then tell them it's okay. It's not okay. Because eventually some of those people are going to be like, man, why we got to talk about all this blackness stuff? Race don't matter. Or then we'll have the guys like in one of the channels I went in where he made a statement that Africans have no dated history that they contributed to civilization. When we are the beginning of civilization. Where we created civilization. But this man said there was no records of African contributions to modern civilization. A Persian said this. A Mongoloid, a Persian, who probably don't even know he a Mongoloid, who probably think he just a Persian. So when we allow for these people to question our blackness or to make a mockery or to intimidate us, because she knew as a teacher she had the power to intimidate that young man. And she knew coming from a white environment in a white school that she knew those students would join in. They're very familiar with how the culture and what they belong to feel about us. Like she's an educator. She doesn't even have the intelligence, the wherewithal as an adult to not even challenge a 7-year-old kid. Like it bothered her so bad that it made her not be an adult. Where she was intimidated by a 7th grade, 13-year-old, where she felt the need to tell a 13-year-old that his pro-blackness was a problem. Because he was manifesting true pro-blackness. He wasn't following a leader. He wasn't following a doctrine. He was following his own heart. A 13-year-old. I would love to meet that little kid. I would love to meet a 13-year-old kid who, like me at 13, knew that his blackness was omnipresent and the most important thing to him. And after this, nobody's going to be able to knock him off his square. Because he's standing up to the system at 13. He could have just been like, man, put his head down, didn't tell his mom nothing, took it on the chin. Because, you know, a lot of us suffered in silence. I know it's a lot of young black men and women out here who in the 90s, 80s, 70s, who probably wore something Afrocentric, went through that same shit and just ducked their head in shame and didn't go tell anybody. And just had to deal with, especially if they live in a predominantly white community, right? Because that's what all this is. When we move to these communities to get a better life for our children, ourselves, right? And we subject our kids to this micro and subtle racism, right? That's quiet, that's dangerous, that's deadly. And we subject our babies to that because we're thinking we're doing something right by them by putting them in better communities. And all we're doing is putting them in a place where people are really going to ostracize them because they don't want them there. They don't want to share their education. They don't want to share their affluent communities with us. They want us to prove to them that we belong there. See, and that's the thing that we got to start doing. We got to start having you got to prove you can be with us. We got to start having true gatekeepers of the culture. See, we don't even need to argue with those gatekeepers that's over there talking about high value and all that other goofball shit. We don't even need to argue with them. You don't even want to be a part of that shit. So if they gatekeeping, that's cool. Let them cock block. It's all good. I don't want to be a part of that anyway. But when it comes to the culture, we got to start being the gatekeepers of the culture. The original story was about the gatekeepers of Warner Brothers want to keep Ice Cube out of the game. It's no different than the paucity of black NBA coaches or black NFL coaches or black NBA, MLB players, right? We're starting to see our numbers shrink in power positions or positions of authority. Another black coach got fired yesterday in Atlanta. I'm not to say that he did a great job, but what about all the white coaches that sucked? Westland got rid of theirs because he was just too terrible in Minnesota. Too terrible. But you see a Stan Van Gundy get a second chance, right? Why Mark Jackson never got a second chance? And I mean, I know why. But Mark Jackson is an excellent basketball mind, and what he may think with his spiritual ideology shouldn't stop him from pursuing his career. So now he's just going to be a telestrator for the rest of his life and not be the great coach that he was birthed to be. Because he wanted to infuse the black church culture into the NBA, which may not be the most optimal thing to do. But there should be a compromise somewhere, somehow. We can't let non-black people take the role of gatekeepers of our culture. That lady was trying to be a gatekeeper. That lady was telling him, that blackness will not be, I will not permit that blackness in this classroom. You will not make me feel inferior in public. I'm already intimidated by you. I already know that I'm inferior to you. And now you're going to represent it. You're going to put it in a big ass flag and tell me that you are a king. And when I look at you, I do see a king, but I've been trained to make you feel like you're a pauper. I've been told to mock you when you say that you are a king or you are representative of a king-like mind or a king-like state. I am to mock you. I am to ridicule you. When you are LeBron James and you step up and you the king for your people, some foreigner gonna tell you that your throne is not real and that you need to step off the throne and play basketball. Or Warner Brothers saying, yo, you can't come in here at all. But we got your movie and we got your culture. And it's locked up in a vault. And one day we're going to throw it on Netflix and we're going to throw it somewhere else. And when that streaming money come in, we're going to really get paid. And all you're going to get is the pennies on the dollar while we stacking all the dollars. You and your accountant going to have to count your pennies. We know what them dollars going to look like. Because they're so used to being the gatekeepers of our culture, the gatekeepers of our existence, the gatekeepers of our rise, that when we tell them you're not that, they don't know how to deal with it. So, yo, that's enough of me running my mouth, because it's Talk to Me Tuesday. Talk to Me Tuesday. I'm about to drop the link. Come on up and talk to me. Talk to me about Cube and Warner Brothers. Talk to me about Lebron and ZLATAN. Talk to me about the young man with the t-shirt and that terrible ass teacher. I didn't even want to say her name. I don't even want to give her no credibility. You get no run over here, lady. We just gonna call you the terrible teacher, right? TT, terrible teacher, on a Talk to Him Tuesday. So yo, I'm gonna drop the link. If y'all want to come on up and kick it with me, come on up and kick it for a few minutes. I ain't gonna be here that long. You know what I'm saying? But I just want y'all to talk to me if you want to. All right. So there go the link. Hit the Cash App if you like. Support the channel, man, so I can get a better computer. You know what I mean? Get some shit going on, because I want to switch this up. because I really want to, I have a medium platform for the culture, because I really want to talk about the importance of the culture, and I really want to bring out those who do great things in the culture and highlight Black life on my other channel, my Blackground TV. I want to talk about all the Black people that's doing wonderful things in the world. But on here, I want to have a conversation every day about the culture, and how the culture on Mondays, how the culture can motivate you. On Tuesdays, let's talk about it. On Wednesdays, how we can share, how we can love and our own personal relationships. On Thursday, I want to have conversations with people that's very influential, not only in our culture, but in this culture on YouTube. And Friday, it's going to be Freestyle Friday, and we're going to do it for the culture. So come on through, check your man AC Star out Monday through Friday, 8:30, 9:30. You know, I'm gonna try to get it together, man. I ain't no early morning dude. Ain't no grass to cut, so I ain't really be beat, right? But I know I gotta get up and I gotta come holler at my people, because this is very relaxing and therapeutic to me to get on here and really able to be myself and kick it. You know what I'm saying? You don't really get to kick it like that outside. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of Hunger Games out there. It's kind of a starving situation. You know what I mean? But I hope to, get better at doing this, presenting and bringing y'all information, and especially about the culture, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's fashion, whether it's literature, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's a movie, whether it's news that affects the culture, whether it's iconic people in the culture that we lost, you know what I'm saying? I just want to make this for the culture, by the culture, to the culture, right? Because we are the culture. We are the culture. So, it don't look like nobody want to come up. So, what I'm going to do is, man, I'm going to go ahead and get up on out of here, man. This was a nice little cool build. I just wanted to talk about those things a little bit. And we got to make sure that we don't allow people to be our gatekeepers, man, and control our narrative on what we do. We got to be the gatekeepers of our own culture. We can't let the Vlads and the like DJ Khaled is cool. Like I seen an interview with him the other day with Beanie Siegel. And it was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty cool. And he had gave Beans some love here and there. And Beans was really, thankful and grateful for it. But at the same time, I feel like it's other producers out there, or other, young DJs out there, you know what I'm saying, that definitely, need the opportunity to present like him and can do all those collabos. And, it's crazy how people go jump on a Khaled beat, but or y'all gonna go jump on some other cat beat, if he made a album, right? You know what I'm saying? But I guess, somebody gave Khaled the green light and said that he belonged to the culture, so he's allowed to, swim, do what he do. You know what I'm saying? He's a talented dude. That's cool, Psycho. We got Thursday, bro. We got that interview on Thursday, so we can go ahead and rock that. You know what I'm saying? We could definitely do that. It's cool. It's cool. You know what I mean? But this Talk to Him Tuesday. So, I talk to y'all on this Tuesday. I like to thank everybody that came through. Miss Callan, Psycho. You know what I mean? My man D. Appreciate it. Mr. Nini will have a beautiful self. Triple OG. My man Aries. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to him. Miss FedEx, as always, it's a pleasure to have you in the building. My star pupil, my EP Antea, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for coming through. Triple OG, SPD in the building all the way from the motherland. My sister from the other land, you know what I'm saying? My man Yeti Black. What's the deal, Yeti Black? Rollo was in the building. Joe Dub was in the building. So, big shouts to everybody. Thursday, I got a special interview with my man Psychopatheus, and we definitely going to talk about the culture. But at first and foremost, we're going to talk about Psychopatheus, his wonderful co-host Renee, and how they rock over there and what they got going on in the future. You know what I'm saying? And how we can tighten this thing up over here. Because our platform going to be called For the Culture. It's going to be for the culture sphere, right? So they got the manosphere, the womansphere, all that shit. They got the B1s, all that. Over here, it's going to be the culture sphere for the fucking culture. We're going to be about the culture. So if you're about that culture, you know what I mean? Come holler at your boy AC, because I'm about that culture. So with the love of the culture, I need y'all to do 3 things. I need y'all to love yourselves, love those who love you, and I need y'all to stay safe. It's your man AC Star. It's the AC Star Morning Show. Peace. I'm out.